And hello, I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm still waiting on Tank. We're going to cover, and he doesn't even know it yet, about Trump's tweet about the Bitcoin and Libra coin from Facebook and how it's, he doesn't like it. And X22 reports saying that it's meant to collapse the world economy. And then, of course, they can blame Trump. But they're wise to it. But that brings us back to our original reason why we've done these broadcasts is GCR, the big lie. And while we're waiting for Tank, I thought I'd just go ahead and put on Restored Republic via the GCR.
Restored Republic via GCR update as of July 12th, 2019. Below is a summary of information from the internet. It would be up to the individual reader to do their own research and decide whether or not it was valid. Patience is a virtue. Having virtue is a sign of a good moral being. Good moral beings have the power to overcome evil and change the world. In the near future this will come to be. I wish you well in your humanitarian efforts and look forward to seeing you again on the other side of the RV where together we will make life better for all. Patience is a virtue. Having virtue is a sign of a good moral being. Good moral beings have the power to overcome evil and change the world. High alert for 800 numbers release. Judy note. Late this morning, Thursday, July 11th, I received word from a very high up and reliable source who asked me to publish in this update. Mr. Cottrell has signed off on the RV. The US Treasury is on top of it and are moving very quickly. Tier 3 and Tier 4 SKRs started paying out in good quantities today, Thursday, July 11th, while other groups and SKR holders have been promised they would be liquid tomorrow on Friday, July 12th.
Here's a question. Has anyone heard this before? Well, could we just say that this was a repeat of the one from the last one we heard, which was probably a month ago, and a couple of days before that we heard it was a repeat. Oh, Tier 3 and 3-4 paying really well now, and we're going to get to our 800 numbers and so on. Again, no GCR, no massive amount of money coming from them. They don't have access to that. So what are they going to do now? Redeem the GCR for Libra coin and the Facebook? You'll see.
Packets were being delivered today, Thursday, July 11th. Early morning sat. July 13th, Iraq would have its cabinet complete, allowing the Iraqi dinar to go international. It was my understanding that SKRs, groups and currency and Zim bond holders across the globe would all go at once. As Q said, where we go one, we go all. Sun. July 14th, 2019, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement plans to begin the previously postponed raids across the country to arrest thousands of family members of undocumented immigrants. The expected military cover on the streets for RRV appointments. A. Warning, be careful with whom you deal in exchanging your currencies or redeeming Zim bonds. Unauthorized people have posed as representatives of Wells Fargo and other banks while trying to convince people to exchange their currencies with them. It was also rumored that the cabal had set up their own bank, disguised it as a branch of HSBC, told a large international humanitarian group that they were so special that they would redeem early and without 800 numbers, or redemption centers, but via the internet in an obvious plot to steal their monies and make sure the group's thousands of humanitarian programs wouldn't be funded. B. Validated 800 numbers and instructions on how to set appointments, redeem them and exchange currencies would be sent out by email and published on the below approved websites only after 800 numbers release and only after those instructions were duly verified. Check to make sure the 800 numbers you received by email was also present on these different websites. You do not have to be in a group, could easily exchange and redeem yourself, plus instructions would apply to all participants, banks and redemption centers worldwide. Dinar Chronicles, www.dinarchronicles.com, tatlestide.html. Dinari Recaps, www.dinarrecaps.com.
Let's see if we can
Marks,
fast forward this.
wbigcall.net, 71277404016, pin 123456, July 11th. 4. Chinese elders were in a big meeting yesterday that completed what needed to be done for the RV. 5. There were security concerns that were handled by tonight. 6. We were set to go at any time. 7. Tier 3 and Tier 4 SKRs started paying out in good quantities today, Thursday, July 11th. 8. Packets were being delivered today, Thursday, July 11th. 9. Sources have been told to keep quiet. 10. A lot of in and out flights have taken place out west in Reno. 11. This could happen as early as tomorrow, Friday, July 12th. 12. Bruce will publish the 800 numbers on his website, thebigcall.net. D. Thursday, July 11th, 2019 update TNT. Thursday update from TNT Rayron 98. 1. SKR holders are receiving notifications of funds availability by the end of this week. 2. Reportedly, banks have received permission to start setting appointments for SKR holders and documented high-volume exchanges. Undocumented exchanges will follow suit afterwards. 3. A bank source is reporting, if you are a currency holder, you should receive exact information on where to go for your exchange by Friday, July 12th. E. July 11th, 2019 Morning Coffee with Marks. www.twitch.tv. 1. No new intel since last night. 2. Representatives of the Chinese elders have left Reno where they completed their oversight there and were now.
Okay, I think that's enough of that. All right, this is just the ongoing same baloney as they're always saying, and this is followed by some other information that this is the reason for this and this is the cause of that. All right, well, welcome to Dank Live. I don't know where Tank is. I've been ringing him. No answer. The phone rings. No answer, and he's not sent me any messages. So anyway, I will go ahead and make sure that Tui. I think Tui already has the link. So sure, yes, I did send him the link. But I think that we can skip this. The only reason I wanted to bring this up about the GCR, because we've covered this so many times, is that we're talking about the reason why the GCR is the big lie. This was the way in which the cabal was going to collapse the world economy, and the way that it happened was that there's such a flood of currency out on the marketplace would literally cause runaway inflation and lack of everything. And then the few million people, let's say even it was 10 million people that had these currencies, now we're able to go out and purchase things and they buy everything up and are supposed to give money to others and start their projects. So not that there aren't real projects involved and all this, and they wouldn't hire people and do those things, but it's the end result would be inflation, and the people that didn't have money would not be able to afford things. It would cause basically mass rioting And then everyone would be blamed, would be the people who had received all this money. So, because of the X22 report today talking about Libra coin, he basically said that the cabal would use Libra coin to crash the economy by creating a counterfeit currency on the marketplace. And when I read through what Libra was all about, it just meant to me it's another replacement for the Federal Reserve. It's just set up exactly the same way. A small group of people own everything behind the scenes, the investors, and they would be the ones in control of this Libra coin that would be, moved out around the world. Now, again, Libra, the Facebook is not legitimate from the standpoint of the technology. It was owned by Leader Technology and Michael McKibben, and they were giving this power over Facebook and the other social media and the source code, giving the power over it to Trump. Now, hopefully, Trump can use this and does use it, and does it in a very vocal way to take control. Now, maybe he won't do it in a vocal way. He'll do it from behind the scenes. He is asking all the media giants in for meetings. So we're going to see where they're going to go with it. But it's just because of this Trump tweet about Bitcoin and Libra coin and X22's report associating it with the collapse of the world economy that basically brought us back to what Tank and Thomas Williams and Kim under Manna World Holding Trust have been saying, that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to be used by the cabal to basically crash the world economy and then institute their one world martial law plan. And I started doing some research in it, and there was also some Maxine Waters basically sent a letter. I do have that letter. Maybe I can find it. The two Facebook said, "Oh, we're calling you in to discuss your Libra coin." Now, what that was very obvious to me, was the government coming in to say, we're going to now oversee this, but really just to give the authority of color to Libra when they say, oh, it's okay. And Maxine is the one that's going to give that information out. So what I'll do is I'll start, because I don't know what's happened to Tank, but let's go over first the Trump tweet. Let me line that up first. Share my screen. Present to everyone. There we go. So this was just on July 11th at 5:15 p.m. Donald Trump said, "I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based upon thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity." And a little bit further down, he says, similarly, Facebook's Libra virtual currency will have little standing or dependability. If Facebook and other cryptocurrencies want to become a bank, they must seek a new banking charter and become subject to all the banking regulations, just like other banks, both national and international, have only one real currency in the United States, and it is stronger than ever, both dependable and reliable. It is by far the most dominant currency anywhere in the world, and will always stay that way. It's called the United States dollar. Okay, there we go. We won't go into the people now. There are people on here that are basically supporting Bitcoin and talking all good things about Bitcoin. And hey, I bought my house for 1.9 million. Now it's worth 220 million in Bitcoin. That's the Bitcoin he had received for it. And so on. There's the fans of Bitcoin coming down here, right? So all going against what Trump had to say. Now, as you know, I am a supporter of cryptocurrency because I saw it as a way to outmaneuver the banking system and the governments. I've seen that for a long time, and it was because the system is corrupt and needed to be circumvented, right? Or you have to have a workaround so that you can actually do things and be an entrepreneur in the world. So now, and I completely agreed though that the cabal created Bitcoin. But I was saying that it's a two-edged sword, right? It's a new technology, and when new technologies come into play, there is unintended consequences that usually affect those that are introducing it, that make it go a different direction. It is decentralized in nature, not centralized. This is a very big problem for a central bank system. No matter how much they would like to centralize it, it can never be and will always leak out. It's just impossible for it to be completely controlled in the same way. That being said, there's going to be millions of cryptocurrencies, and they will be traded in different ways. It's not a technology to be shunned, it's a technology to be used. So that being said, I'm going to continue because I do believe that Libra coin is meant to replace the Fed. If you see that they're actually using bonds as their backing, right? What bonds are they using? Could it be the birth certificate entities? Do you think that they may be looking to use it from maybe even MERS might get tied into it? I would not be surprised. I don't know if that's occurring, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. So let's go. Here's a Yahoo article. Trump tweets he's not a fan of Bitcoin. And just to say, I'll just read a little bit of this here. And of course, it's repeated. Donald Trump has revealed he's not a fan of Bitcoin or Facebook's Libra in his first public comment on cryptocurrency. In the series of tweets, the U.S. president said Bitcoin illegal activity, it enabled illegal activity and was not money. However, his comments were welcomed by senior figures within the cryptocurrency industry and even appeared to boost the market value. Yeah. So it's not clear what prompted Trump's remarks, though it came hours after the White House hosted social media summit to discuss alleged left-wing bias platforms like Facebook. I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based upon thin air, Trump tweeted. He added, unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and illegal. Well, someone was trying to call me. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead. I'll just turn off Telegram. I got the messages out to it just in case they try to call back. All right. Anyway, he signed off his Twitter rant with the typical nationalist rhetoric. Okay, well, we won't go into that part, so that's enough of that. But let's look. Not there. Where am I looking? No, that's not the one I'm looking for. Oh, well. All right. Well, that's okay. We'll just let me just talk about it. So, in looking at the way they set up the Libra coin, it is looking like it is meant to be a replacement for the Fed. Now, if everyone starts paying their bills by way of cryptocurrencies, they're going to end up causing the dollar not to be spent. And if the cabal, the government, the corporate systems of paying are going to accept Libra, like say for your electricity bill and your cable bill, then you start using that. Now, 70% of the GNP of the nation is used for people using dollars to pay for things. If they stop doing that, then the GNP will go down and the power will shift to Facebook. This is worldwide. Facebook is worldwide. And they'll even let it into China. They will. With a social score, they will allow it into China. And then everyone will be paying with Libra it sounds like the old currency. It does. Yeah, wasn't the original debt to the crown in lira? So interesting. It's coming back now. We're going to look at X22 report for a little bit here. Let me line that up also, and listen to what they have to say. We're going to skip to about 6 minutes in. Yeah, 6 minutes in.
Now, like I said in the beginning, Trump said something very interesting about cryptocurrency. The question is, why now did he decide to mention Bitcoin and Libra in the same breath? Because the deep state, the central bank, they were planning to use Libra to destroy the U.S. economy. Everyone's going, wait, what are you saying? Wait, what?
What?
Let's go back in time just a little bit here. When Trump was first coming in to the White House, what was the Fed doing? What was the deep state doing? Well, they were planning to remove Trump from office. And they had the Fed raise rates. This was going to happen. And the economy was going to crash. They also had the fake dossier. They had Mueller. They tried everything. But what did the Patriots do? They reversed the plan. The Fed is now going to cut rates and start stimulus. So we scratched that plan off the board here. Trump also reworked the globalist trade deals, creating new trade deals with countries, preparing the U.S. economy for the new economy, one without the central bank. Now, the deep state, the central bank, they're trying to introduce a new currency via Facebook. Remember, Facebook is an intelligence-designed social media app. It was called LifeLog. Since Facebook has millions of people on their platform, they could use cryptocurrency to crash the system. Let's go back in time a little bit. This was done before, actually. Not with cryptocurrency, of course, because it didn't exist. But during the Revolutionary War, the British tried to crash the U.S. economy at the time by introducing fake currency. What?
What? Let me stop right there for a moment and talk with you. Now, we've been discussing through American intelligence media how the Brits have been using their let's say their intelligence agencies and creating the ways in which to control the world by way of controlling intelligence. And MI5, MI6, and all of the Five Eyes groups and the participation in what happened to get rid of Trump before he became elected and after became elected, all of this going down. If you look through American intelligence media's videos and you start listening, you'll find out that the Brits were maintaining control over the worldwide empire from the shadows. Now, it's interesting that it's in their playbook to use currency to collapse the economy. They tried it during the Revolutionary War. That's why I wanted to draw that connection for you. We'll go on and we'll listen to more from X22 reports. Again, this is a X22 report from, I believe it's from today, isn't it? Oh, yeah, July 13th. So brand new.
Yes. Let's go back, and this is from the Journal of the American Revolution. To this end, a campaign was devised to undermine the American economy in an attempt to achieve a twoffer. If the economy was in shambles, the Americans would not be able to purchase the men and material needed to continue the war. At the same time, by undermining the economy, they would also be undermining the American Congress, which was acting as the central government. Perhaps if people lost faith in the Congress, they would realize that war could not be won, and they would all return to the fold. While it is hard to say whether anyone in the British government sat down and actually put together a comprehensive plan, it is obvious that several different measures were undertaken. These included attempts to limit American trade with foreign nations, using all-powerful British Navy to interdict as much overseas commerce as possible, as well as searching vessels from neutral countries for war materials en route to America. This move in particular was frowned upon by many European nations. While these activities were effective to a point, the most effective strategy that was tried, and one that very nearly succeeded, was the massive undertaking of counterfeiting congressional paper currency to the point of making it almost worthless, thus crashing the American economy. No economy, no more war. In looking at this strategy, three questions must be asked. How were the fake notes produced and circulated? Was it effective in undermining the economy? Finally, was this a sanctioned strategy by the British, one that they knowingly pursued? Looking at the counterfeiting strategy through these questions presents an intriguing and often overlooked aspect of the American Revolution. Bills that were put into circulation, they used several different methods. One involved finding men who had deserted the Patriot cause and fled to British lines, lining their pockets with fake cash and convincing them to cross back over and spend what they could. Of course, they would have to be careful as to not arouse suspicion.
All right, let's end it there. So again, this is a X-22 report pointing out that the British had previously used this system to try to crash during the Revolutionary War, crash the colonial economy. Now, in American intelligence media, they've been pointing out that the Queen's Privy Council is who is in control of these intelligence agencies, the AI. They actually have sent people to take over Facebook and run it. You can see that this is what is really happening. So they are looking to use Facebook as their system of brainwashing people, and are using it as a way of making payments for everything. So Libra coin will end up being the coin in which everybody is using unless it's stopped. And there's every reason to do it because, as Trump said, well, they should look at getting a banking charter and follow the banking rules if they're going to do this, right? So Trump is aware of what they're going to do. But you can see that Facebook has been put into a position to replace the Fed and create a new one world currency that would be under Facebook. We call it Libra. So anyway, this is again, we're right here on the front lines with these things, and we're looking at how these things will happen. Now, just remember, we should try and see if we can get a hold of Tank. It's already an hour into it. I have not heard from him. I'll try him one more time. See if we can get a hold of him. And that this has been an ongoing effort, right, by Britain to control the world, right? That is the main their main purpose, right, in doing this, to continue with the British Empire. Well, it's raining. We'll see if he picks up. But in any case, I'm going to look at the chats also, and we'll see if there is any questions there. So if you do have questions, please place a Q in the front and then ask your question. me share my screen. Oh, I already am. All right. Okay, questions. No questions yet. There's a, okay. Did you see Tank having a phone trouble? He won't be on tonight. No, I didn't see that. I don't have any messages from him. Well, thanks, Nancy, for telling me. Uh, I got no messages from him. Because he might have sent me an email, but it's happened before. All right. Well, I guess we'll just complete the questions and we'll close it up for today. A dank live without the tank part. That's all right. All right. No questions. Good. All right. Here we go. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Pass this out, especially those in the dinar world. Have them, look at this. Anyone in GCR, have them take a look at this. Have them wake up to the fact that there is no GCR, and if there was a GCR, it's all about crashing the world economy. Facebook's move is to basically create that replacement for the Federal Reserve to go worldwide with their worldwide currency, backed by what? Bonds. It does say that. If you look at their documents, they're backing it by bonds. What are bonds? These bonds, are they the same bonds that are us? They're using the MERS system? I don't know, but just across my mind. Anyway, please pass this out. Please subscribe. Please subscribe on the other YouTube channel, WWG1WGALOVE, where we go one, we go all, love. And please subscribe to the website, wwg1wga.love. So that's where you can participate and support what I'm doing here for $1.11 a month, $8.88 a month, or $99.99 a year. Anything is much appreciated. It does help make things move forward here. And please do share these links. It is important. All right, for now, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.